Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the second video of Pincade. This one is going to focus on how to install SAM tables. So it has a prereq of actually having Visual Pinball installed and working, and hopefully you went through that without too many issues. I kind of rushed through that video. I kind of am not a big fan of editing videos for hours. I just record them, and however they come out is how they come out. I think it's better than having nothing at all. So let's just get right into it. SAM, like I said in the last video, is only housed on VP Universe. So that website is vpuniverse.com. And we're going to go there, and you're going to need an account and everything to log in. But I don't believe they charge a user fee or anything like that. I think it's just a free download type thing. Anyway, once you get in, we're going to go to Navigation Center, and we're going to go to Downloads. So one of the things you're going to look for, I'm trying to remember where exactly, it's probably in PinMame here, and that's exactly what we need right there is the VPin SAM Pin DMD. This is kind of like a crack, and what I mean by crack for anybody that's not aware of it, it's basically gonna overwrite an existing file that's there, like a legitimate existing file, but it's also gonna add some code into what would normally be in that file, and that's basically what a crack is, right? They're basically taking something and then they're altering it a bit, and then they're combining it back together, and the program really doesn't know that it's been altered to that point where it's maybe doing something that it shouldn't be doing. So we're gonna download this. Now don't get scared by this. It's not like it's really illegal. It's not like anytime someone hears the word crack, they immediately associate it with like piracy and stuff like that. This is not a piracy thing. This is more of a hack. Once again, another one of those terms that gets a bad rap for certain things that goes on. But the reason why I went back here is because I personally have an actual DMD, and I'm trying to remember which one I used to download. And this is the one I'm going to download for myself. And that's because right here, I was looking for this instruction right here where it says for pin DMD version 1 use this file, for all others use this file. So let's download this thing. I probably should have had this downloaded already before, but it is what it is. Where is the SAM VBS? It's saying it includes it. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that there was another one here. So you also need this one, which is the SAM VBS, which is the Visual Basic script for SAM. And the other file is to the previous file that we downloaded is to this one right here, this DLL. This is to allow PinMame to know about the SAM table ROMs. So that's basically what we're doing right now. And you're going to need Visual Pinball 991 for this. And I'm going to open up my directory. Let's minimize this, okay? And here's the PinMame, right? So this is our Visual Pinball directory like we did in the last video. This is our PinMame installation point. And we're going to double click this and we're going to go in. And there should be a DLL. There it is right there. So the last time I updated this DLL was of December of the last year that just ended. So I'm probably due for one anyway. So we're going to drag and drop this on top of this. Move and replace. Yes. Now, the SAM VBS, all right, let's go back a directory. Now we're back in Visual Pinball. And you want to go into tables. And I already have one, so I'm going to be overriding the one that I have with a newer one. But you're not going to have this file in here, but you'll have other VBSs. So yours is just going to be a drag and drop in there if you haven't already set up SAM. And mine is going to be a move and replace because I'm overwriting the existing file that was there. I believe that is all I ever had to do to get this working. I just want to make a double check if this site ever responds. And it's important to know that there is also some stuff for setting up, manually setting up registry keys to make sure that you're in cabinet mode and everything else. I will show you a different way of doing this. But this is more or less if you wanted to do this for overall. So take a look at this information down here. This basically, if you set this, basically every single table that you load will always use these settings. Or you could go in and it's kind of like a global config if you're familiar with that. Or you could do this through this front end here, which I'm going to show you. And you could still set the same thing, but it would be on a table basis, right? So every table would have to do it that way. So it's more advisable to do it from the registry keys. But if you're not comfortable messing with the registry, or you're notorious for messing with the registry and blowing it out of the water, maybe either you do a backup of your registry before you do those changes, or maybe you do them. You take the extra 5 seconds when you're downloading tables and do it that way. So I believe that's all you needed, right? Now, let's get a table. So let's take, let's just take this Tron LE right here. And if you're watching this video, maybe you've already gone through trying to get one of these tables working and got frustrated, or you're looking through hundreds of updates. People tend to have a lot of problems with getting these things to work, and I'm going to try and show you the easiest way of getting these things to work. So we're going to do just a regular, we're not going to do a FizzMod version of this, which is just an enhanced physics release for VP10. We're going to do just a regular VP9 version. So he's up to 1.4, huh? I'm wondering if I even have this version. Like I said, I apologize for not downloading this stuff in advance, but I always come home from work, I just get the inspiration to do a video, and that's what I do. But somewhere in here, you usually see what the ROM name should be. You could also use our other method, like we spoke about, like I showed you in utilizing the script, looking for the game name or the C game name variable, and seeing what they set it to. So this one, we're going to do something similar to the way I showed you how to do it, because you never know if a table changed or a ROM changed. Like, you know, Stern does do updates for their SAM ROM still. So this might have changed, but the guy may have built a different table, and maybe it's not calling the same ROM. Whatever the case is, it's always better to just work off of the table of what it says, rather than trying to assume that that information there is still correct. So the one thing I want to do is, I have Trons that are working. So I'm going to name this Tron test, just so I can make sure that this is not the same version, or I don't overwrite my existing version. And I'm going to load up VP991. And I'm going to look for Tron test. And I'm going to go right into the script. And I'm going to do a search for game name. So it's TRN underscore 17 for 174H. And I believe that's what they said on here, which is correct. This will also let you know other information of what they may have written it with. In this case, they're using 9.2. I don't know if he's talking about pen meme or visual pinball, but right here it says VP 9.16. So I'm assuming that maybe he's talking about pen meme. I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna show you a couple ways of testing this stuff. So the next thing is, where do I get the ROMs for these things, right? Don't look at VP forums for these ROMs, and don't look at VP Universe. You have to literally go to the Stern Pinball website. Okay, and we're gonna go to game code, and we're gonna look up Tron, right? So here it is. There's only one. Oh, actually, sorry, there's two. This one is the Pro. I don't know if he says that. Actually, I stand corrected. He did use the LE version. The reason why I thought it was a Pro is because most of the SAM tables, they can only build in a Pro version. Something having to do with, I don't remember if it was a sound card that they couldn't, there was some kind of board in the actual pinball machine that they couldn't emulate, or were having trouble emulating. Therefore, they were not doing LE editions of games. They were only doing Pros. But for some reason, the Tron one they were able to emulate. So we're going to download this guy. And this is where things are going to get tricky. You're going to definitely want to make sure that you downloaded 7-zip. Okay, I'm waiting for this to finish downloading. I got 1 minute. So the one thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to copy this name right here. "26 seconds." So at least, I mean, I know this is kind of brutal watching me download a file mid tutorial, but at least you're getting to see that, this is exactly how you get the file, because there's always someone that's like, I have no idea where to get the ROM. I've been looking like crazy, right? So you literally saw me get the ROM. Now, here's the thing. This thing isn't named like a traditional ROM for emulation. This is actually a ROM, like a real piece of code that would be used for upgrading an actual machine, right? And like I said, PinMeme emulates that machine. So inside of it, there's a README text, and then there is a Tron binary file, this is the ROM, this binary file. Bin stands for binary, right? So you're gonna copy this guy out. This is the way I do it. Okay, you could do it other ways, but this is the way I know works. Okay, and then I take a new folder, and I take a compressed folder, and I name it the actual ROM name. And I take this binary file, and I also name that to the ROM name. So now I have the ROM name here, I have the ROM name here. And you just dump it in there. Sorry, a little bit too quick for the machine. So here's the file, right? So I've basically repackaged the ROM to the way PinMeme would really want it to be. Now, there's been arguments that you don't need to do that much of a renaming thing, and that you don't have to do anything other than rename this folder. But I found that 100% of the time, this works. All right. Sometimes renaming this with the text file in there, I've had problems. I've also had problems where, leaving this as some funky name like this instead of renaming it has caused me problems. So I've been using this method, and that's the method that I use. Right. And that's what I'm going to recommend doing. So now we've got this file, and I just realized that this is probably going to give me a problem with my other ROM. So I'm going to rename my other ROM. I'm going to name this one dash old. All right. Nice Linux style type thing. And I'm going to dump this new one in. Okay. So now if we go back and that was in PinMeme, right, where all your other ROMs are. So now I'm in PinMeme, and I'm going to go down to this setup exe, and I'm going to run this. And what I want to do is I want to do test. All right. Okay, that's interesting. That is a new one right there. Let me stop the video right here and figure out why exactly this is crashing. I'll get back to you guys. Alright guys, I'm back. Took me a couple minutes to figure out what the problem was. I accidentally downloaded the wrong file from myself. This doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen to you, but when I stated I was running PinDMD version 1, I'm actually running PinDMD version 2. Okay, so I made a mistake accidentally. I downloaded this one instead and just overwrote the other DLL. No major catastrophe. So if when you load this stuff, if you get a message similar to that, like you're missing a file or something, then you just have the wrong file. Just overwrite it, right? So for example, I will purposely break it again just so you can see it. This is probably gonna overwrite something, maybe not. So right now when I go in here and I run test, I see this listing that we'll get to in a second. I overwrite the DLL with the improper file. I run test, I got this error message, right? Because it's looking for this DLL that I don't have because I'm not running a PinDMD version 1, I'm running a PinDMD version 2. So I use the all others file, which is probably what most people are going to use, which is this one. And I just move it back in, overwrite the other crack file, and it's fine. See, so no harm, no foul. I just accidentally downloaded the wrong thing. So anyway, continuing on, we're at this screen, right? If you click this test button, you'll see a game name on the left with a version number, and then you will see a ROM name. I don't know exactly what this X means because I can't see any title or anything like that, but as you can see right next to us, we have the ROM name there, right? So I'm going to do TRN. Obviously, it didn't take all my keystrokes, but 17. So here it is, Tron Legacy Limited Edition version 1.74, 1.74H, right? So if you do start, okay, it's going to say it's running, and you'll see like a DMD over here. My other actual DMD is also displaying this as well, but it's showing me here that and there's actually one of my scores, the DIA score. It's showing you that it's able to read the ROM. Okay, if you were to get something like and now I'm gonna purposely, really don't want to do this, but I was gonna purposely break the ROM. Actually, better yet, let's just do this. Let's just try and load a ROM for something I know we don't have, which is AC/DC limited edition, whatever. You would get a message similar to this saying that the checksum didn't match, or it can't run this thing, or it's missing a file, or anything very much related to this, or an error message saying that it could not open it or whatever, gives you an indication that you have a problem with the ROM. All right. So either, and there's the other message. So either you have a bad ROM file, or you created the ROM file wrong, or maybe you didn't update your pin name correctly. Those are the three things that I would check, right? And the first thing I would do is make sure that you did the ROM correctly, right? Because it's very easy to fat finger a name or something, and or not remove a file, then it can't read it properly or whatever. So start with the ROM first. Next thing would be to make sure that you downloaded the file correctly without an issue. Third thing, maybe dump the DLL for pinmame over it again. So now that I know that I got a working file, a working ROM, right? I'm gonna wanna load up 991, and I'm gonna load up this Tron test table. Okay, so now I have the ROM that it's calling for, and we have the SAM VBS file. So this should. Oh, I got an error message. I don't know exactly what that error message said, but I got an error message. Okay, I know what the error message was. The error message was saying that I could not find a backlash. I'm not going to get into that in this video. That's a whole nother video, but I'm going to fix that really quick so that it's not using an animated backlash and I get no error. Okay. Don't get discouraged by that error message that you saw. I did not try and hide anything. It really is another advanced tutorial type thing, and it's really meant for table cabinet people, not for desktop users. So that's it. That's how you get a SAM brand new or newer table working. It's not really that hard. Just got to get the two file, have a working version of PinMame, right? And Visual Pinball. Make sure you got some older tables that are working fine, and you're able to download a table and put a ROM in and get it to boot correctly. If you're at that point, you're good to go to move on to SAM tables. But like I said, make sure you're running. I usually try and stick with 991 at the minimum for SAM tables. And also, guys, to keep in mind that whenever they release like a new SAM table, like probably soon, Metallica will probably come out, or Star Trek, one of those two. Both of those are kind of slated to be released at some point. You're going to want to make sure that you update your SAM, because right now it probably does not support those ROMs. If it does, they'll probably update it anyway. What I find is that whenever they make a new table, it's best to just upload it, update that file. Last time I had a problem was with World Poker Tour. It had like an LCD type thing on the desktop. I mean, not on the desktop, on the play field. And I troubleshot it for hours thinking that it was like a ROM thing or a table thing. And then I just found out I ended up, out of pure loss on it, I just wrote on the forums, and 5 minutes later someone was like, update your pin name, and I felt like an idiot afterwards. So definitely just always keep it up to date. I mean, check the website anytime something new comes out that has to do with a SAM table. Just take 2 seconds and check the pin name thread and make sure you're good. And like I said, maybe just throw it on anyway. So anyway, start enjoying the new tables. That's all I got for you guys. Sorry for the little mishap. Those are gonna happen. I'm just used to it from working in the IT field, but I do them all the time, and a good IT guy will always know how to get out of his shitstorm that he creates. So it is what it is, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy. Later.